How do you turn this into this? Good morning, friends. So I have in front of me here the Zenbivy ultralight bed in a 10-degree setup. And for anybody who's slept in a Zenbivy recently, I'm joining the growing number of converts that have found this bed to be one of the most comfortable sleeping systems for backcountry. In fact, the day that I got this, I set it up in the basement and laid down in it just to check it out, and 2.5 hours later woke up after an extremely comfortable sleep just in the basement. And largely this is because of this system that Zenbivy has, where instead of using traditional pad straps, they use a sheet system that attaches to your sleeping pad and then attaches the quilt onto this, instead of with traditional straps, with this kind of elaborate clip system. And then using this piece as a baffle to prevent any drafts from getting into the bag while still allowing it to move and flow kind of freely back and forth. And I think that really is what makes it feel so much like a traditional bed when you're at home. So my other quilts don't have this system. They're on a traditional strap system. And the question is how to convert these other bags that I've got into a Zenbivy system that I could use in cooperation with one of these Zenbivy sheet systems. I did buy an extra sheet system in the ultralight setup that I can flip back and forth with either the warmer version of it or the ultralight version, and also paired up with one of my other sleeping bags for warmer weather temperatures, or if I'm going out with a friend or a companion. For anybody else on doing a similar retrofit, it's important to note that the clips are not on the edge of the sleeping bag or sleeping quilt. There's been a lot of threads on the internet about just sew it right through here and attach it right here, but actually it's up quite a bit from the edge of the quilt, and that's to allow it that when the quilt moves, that this flap of quilt stays down and stays attached to your to the mattress and doesn't lift off and therefore give you the drafts. So the measurements are fairly specific, and the one of the representatives of the company has kindly put out the dimensions for this, and they do sell a retrofit kit that requires you to stick on kind of a 3M adhesive or like a tape version of it with these attached to it. But for those of you that don't want to wait for that kit to come out or want to do it on your own, there's a non-destructive way to attach this without cutting into your bag, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So let's go up into the sewing shop and we'll show you the layout. So I've already done one edge of this bag. This is a Mountain Equipment Company Talon 0-degree bag, 0 degrees Celsius bag. And the measurements are, they recommend 25 centimeters from the edge of the quilt, 25 centimeters up, 35 centimeters from the top of the quilt, from the very top of the quilt. So 35 centimeters down, and then 22 centimeters in between each loop. So 25 from the edge of the quilt into the loop. So 25 for each one of these, and 35 from the top down, and 22 centimeters for each of those loops. Now my loops do not go in a straight line because my quilt has kind of a rounded taper shape to it on this one, so just be attentive of that on your own design. So the Zenbivy sheet uses a color coordinated clip system. Yellow, green, blue, and then yellow again, starting at the top. I didn't have blue string, so I'm using white instead. And it is fairly important that the diameter of the string that is used is very similar to what Zenbivy actually uses, so that when this clips in, it actually clips, it snaps in place. And so it's not likely to come undone when you move it around. You have to actually kind of pull it out. Hard to do with one hand, there you go. Rather than just be a tension fit. Here's what it looks like up close. So you can see that I've sewn through the fabric on both sides. I'll show you the process that I did to do that. So I did not have to cut into the fabric. I didn't have to rip any seams in the fabric to do this. You could put it anywhere on the surface of the quilt, and I did not stitch through and through to the other side because that actually pinches the loft and makes a cold spot in the quilt. So I did not do that. This is only attached to the outside shell fabric, not the inside shell fabric, and I'll show you how I came about doing that. Okay, so here's how I've marked it out. I'm starting at the head of the quilt. It really helps if you shake all the down out of the fabric, so it's mostly just fabric and there's really all the down is stuffed up in the top. So starting from the top, I've measured 35 centimeters in and 25 centimeters up. And I put a little mark there with a marking pin. Then I've measured out another 22 centimeters. I've done it again, and another 22 centimeters, and I put another mark there, and then another mark, another 22 centimeters down. So they should all be marked out now, and they're all 25 centimeters in. Probably more important that it is at least 25, probably could even be 27 or even a little bit longer, to make sure that this stays down attached to the quilt as a baffle. Okay, so here's the process. I cut some yellow string. The edges get a little loose here, so simply just melting these off a little bit and getting rid of the chance that it's going to open up and fray. Now there's the marking, and the loop is going to be in this direction. And here's the little magic trick here. So I've got some double-sided tape, it's called Wonder Tape, and I tear off a little section of this. Now this tape actually washes, it dissolves when you wash it, so it's not going to be permanently sticky. So I'm going to just put it right on the mark where I want that to go. Really stick that in really nicely. And we'll peel off the back of the sticky tape. Take our string. Roughly lay it where we want it to. Fold over this little bit of fabric over the top and stick. And really push it in so it really sticks. The tape does not want to stick to this fabric very well at all. It's got a DWR water resistant finish on it, and that makes things not really want to stick to it very well. And there you go. So now if you very carefully pick that up, it will stay together in this nice folded kind of fashion, and that is what we're going to stitch through. We'll just carefully put that on the sewing machine without letting it come off of the tape, and we'll do a stitch. Okay, so there's the piece that's all stuck together and taped together. We're going to gently lay it on the machine here. A few in, do a couple of little back stitches to lock it, and here we go. When you get over the thread, it's good to reverse stitch and go back over it once or twice just to lock that thread in, or lock the string in, give it a bit of extra security. Doesn't really need a bar tack here. It's not a really long or a really strong bond needed here. just finish that off. One down, and then you complete that for the remainder. Okay, so the retrofit is complete. And as you can see, this is not a Zenbivy quilt. This is the Mountain Co-op Talon 0°C quilt, which I believe is about 32 Fahrenheit. That is the original Zenbivy ultralight quilt. This is the 10° bag, 10° Fahrenheit. And so now I have two setups to use with my sleep sheet system. And this, I think, will greatly improve the Talon performance because the clip, the pad strap setup on the Talon is horrible and lets lots of drafts in. It makes it really tight fit. It's very hard to roll around in, and this adds a lot of freedom and mobility. It feels really quite comfortable now, and I could not figure any drafting getting in when I've been rolling around on it in my initial tests here. So this is the up close at how it all came together, and plenty strong. Did not have to break any seams, did not have to cut any holes in the quilt, and should function essentially identical to a Zenbivy quilt.